If archaeologists or scientists could neatly decode every strange object they dig up or uncover in remote corners of the world, their job would be a walk in the park. Honestly, anyone could jump in and call themselves an expert. But that's not how it goes. The reality is, many of these finds leave even the most seasoned professionals scratching their heads, and the ones you're about to witness in this video have stumped scientists harder than you'd imagine. Let's start off with Number 15. Marble Sphere of Helios Apollo. When Professor Athanasios Rousopoulos examined a marble sphere near the Temple of Dionysus in 1866, he believed he'd found something linked to ancient magic. The smooth, palm-sized stone was marked with mysterious engravings, leading Rousopoulos to label it the magic sphere of Helios Apollo. For decades, that name stuck. Later analysis by Armand Delatte suggested it was a theater talisman, a charm buried near performance venues in hopes of divine favor during competitions. Still, others disagreed. A third theory, proposed by researcher Nicholas Frel, claims the sphere was actually a spirit house, a sacred object designed to trap or host a spirit that could be called upon by its owner. What makes the object so fascinating is not just its purpose, still uncertain, but how it straddles the line between religion, superstition, and performance culture in ancient Athens. With no definitive answer, the sphere continues to provoke debate. It's not just carved stone, it's a fragment of belief cast in marble. Number 14. Sea of Galilee Boat. In 1986, an intense drought dropped the waterline of the Sea of Galilee low enough to expose something unique, a wooden boat dating back to the 1st century CE. While there's no direct proof that links this vessel to Jesus Christ or even his disciples, it fits the time, size, and style of the boats mentioned in biblical accounts. Measuring nearly 30 feet long, it was built for fishing and transporting goods. Inside, archaeologists found a cooking pot and a simple lamp, both of which dated between 50 BCE and 50 CE. The vessel itself was in fragile condition and required a 12-year preservation process using wax baths before it could be stabilized and displayed. Multiple patches and wood types used in the hull show it had been repaired repeatedly, likely staying in use for decades. Though it may not have carried any historical figures we can name, it offers a rare, tangible window into the daily life and craftsmanship of people who lived along those waters 2,000 years ago. Number 13. Klaus Dona Artifacts. In 2018, a rare and weird collection of stone sculptures known as the Klaus Dona artifacts drew attention after being presented online as 7,000-year-old relics from a cave in Mexico. The pieces were said to depict humanoid figures with oversized heads and dark, almond-shaped eyes, features associated with the so-called gray aliens of modern UFO folklore. Some of the sculptures even appeared to show flying objects. The story caught fire on social media, especially after a video surfaced on the YouTube channel UFO Mania. But there are serious issues with the claim. The cave's location has never been disclosed, and all the artifacts appear unusually pristine, lacking the wear and soil traces expected from genuine prehistoric items. No archaeologists have publicly verified the find, nor has any official examination been published. With no excavation records or provenance, experts suspect the objects are modern creations, designed to feed conspiracy theories rather than expand archaeological knowledge. Until actual evidence emerges, these remain intriguing, but highly questionable artifacts. Number 12. Tabula Cortinensis. The Tabula Cortinensis surfaced in 1992 during routine work in Cortona, Italy, and quickly became one of the most important Etruscan finds to date. Made of bronze and broken into 7 pieces when uncovered, the tablet holds one of the longest-known Etruscan inscriptions, etched in a language scholars are still struggling to fully decode. Archaeologists estimate its age at around 2,200 years. Experts suspect there was originally an 8th piece, still missing, which might contain the information needed to finish translating the entire text. Current translations reference a vineyard, cultivated land, and even table furnishings. It's likely the document details a property transaction between two families, but without the full text, that's still speculation. The tablet also references Lake Trasimeno, anchoring it to real geography. While researchers have deciphered a few key words and phrases, full fluency in Etruscan remains out of reach. Until that changes, it sits at a frustrating intersection of near-complete find and unsolved linguistic mystery. Number 11. Markawasi stone figures. While Lima is more often associated with coastal cliffs and beaches, the surrounding region also contains a significant portion of the Andes Mountains. With just a few short hours of travel from the city, you can experience some truly spectacular mountain scenery. One of the most amazing nearby places is Markawasi, home to an enigmatic stone forest that is often associated with mysticism. Local tradition claims the ruins hold healing powers, though no scientific study has confirmed that. Villagers in San Pedro de Casta, the nearest town, treat it with reverence. The stones themselves resemble human and animal forms, with some carvings estimated to be as old as 10,000 years. While some geologists insist the shapes are natural, it's been proven that a civilization once occupied the site. That makes the idea of intentional carving more believable than a coincidence. Some researchers think the figures represent spiritual guardians or ancestral spirits, though there's no hard evidence to support that. In recent years, local media even told the story of a man who regained his ability to walk after visiting the area. As dramatic as that sounds, no medical documentation was provided. The real mystery lies in the identity of the carvers and what exactly they intended to communicate through stone. Number D's. Ancient trepanation skull. In 2022, a 3,200-year-old skull shocked archaeologists in Van Province, Turkey. What made it unique wasn't just its age, it had undergone trepanation, an early surgical procedure where part of the skull was carefully removed. The concept of drilling into someone's head might sound horrifying today, but in ancient Anatolia, it was believed to treat trauma, headaches, and even evil spirits. What really stunned researchers, though, was the clear evidence of bone healing around the surgical site. That means the person actually survived the ordeal. This pushes back the assumed timeline for advanced medical procedures in the region and suggests a far deeper medical understanding than previously credited to Bronze Age communities. Trepanation wasn't done casually. It was often a desperate last resort treatment. Yet whoever performed this one knew exactly what they were doing. The discovery adds another layer to how complex and skilled ancient Anatolian societies really were, even without the tools and knowledge we take for granted today. Number 9. Shigir Idol. When gold miners dug into a peat bog in the Ural Mountains back in 1890, they uncovered something no one expected, an intricately carved wooden sculpture now known as the Shigir Idol. At over 11,000 years old, it predates the Egyptian pyramids by more than 7 millennia. Standing nearly 17 feet tall, it's the oldest known wooden statue in existence. The idol is covered with geometric carvings, cryptic symbols, and 7 distinct faces stacked down its body. One of those faces is three-dimensional, possibly indicating special status or meaning. A study in 2020 suggested the carving tools may have included sharpened beaver jaws, a wild but plausible idea given the era. The symbols etched into its surface haven't been translated, which leaves the purpose and message of the idol wide open to speculation. Despite decades of study, its meaning remains entirely unknown. Yet even without understanding its language, the craftsmanship alone shows a level of cultural and symbolic thinking that's rare for its age. Number 8. Neanderthal engravings. In 2023, archaeologists confirmed a rare form of symbolic behavior deep inside La Roche-Cotard cave in France. Finger-traced engravings on walls dating back 57,000 years. Located in the commune of Langeais, the cave has long intrigued researchers thanks to a sculpted flint object known as the Mask of La Roche-Cotard. But the newly studied engravings, created long before Homo sapiens arrived in the region, changed the narrative. Using 3D photogrammetry, the team recorded deliberate lines and curves made by human fingers, now believed to be the work of Neanderthals. Sediment layers sealing the cave proved the markings predate the arrival of anatomically modern humans. No tools from Homo sapiens were found, only Mousterian implements associated with Neanderthals. This reinforces a growing shift in how we understand Neanderthal minds, not as primitive but capable of symbolic thought and purposeful artistic expression. Though the meaning behind the engravings remains unclear, their intentional creation opens new questions about identity, memory, and communication in early human species. Number 7. Senegambian stone circles. In the lands where Senegal meets the Gambia, thousands of ancient stone monuments are spread across the region, forming what's known as the Senegambian stone circles. Despite their scale, they remain virtually unknown outside West Africa. Over 1,500 circles have been recorded so far, with nearly 30,000 individual monoliths counted. The stones are carefully placed and exhibit remarkable consistency, yet their builders remain unidentified. No inscriptions or carvings accompany them, and there's little to suggest how old they truly are. Estimates vary from 1,000 to several thousand years. These aren't random arrangements either. Some researchers believe the circles marked burial sites or served as ceremonial gathering spots, though no definitive evidence confirms either theory. Unlike Europe's Stonehenge, the Senegambian circles haven't received much international attention, which has left their study severely underfunded. What's clear is that they're more than simple rock piles. They're part of an organized and sophisticated system whose purpose has faded with time. For now, they sit in quiet anonymity, waiting to be understood. Number 6. Roman cold storage. At Augusta Raurica in Switzerland, a Roman city frozen in time, a team of archaeologists in 2018 finally cracked the code behind some strange underground shafts. For decades, the 16-foot deep pits had puzzled researchers, but after a focused month-long test, they proved something unexpected. The shafts worked as ancient refrigerators. The Romans likely packed these hollows with snow and ice, covered them with straw, and stored perishables at the bottom to keep them cool for months, even during summer. Beer, wine, cheeses, or oysters could have easily been preserved. This hands-on test confirmed that chilled storage wasn't just an elite luxury, but possibly a common practice in well-developed Roman settlements. While it's still not proven that this was their only function, no alternative theory fits as well. The discovery adds nuance to how Romans managed food preservation without electricity, blending engineering, natural elements, and seasonal planning. Once again, their ingenuity in making nature work for them feels strangely ahead of its time, and we don't know how many more Roman things are under the soil. Number 5. Babylonian Ghost Tablet. Well, there are a lot of them, but among the thousands of normal ancient cuneiform tablets at the British Museum, one stands out for its eerie subject matter, a 3,500-year-old guide on how to banish a ghost. Carved during Babylonian times, the clay tablet features an image of a spectral figure, a gaunt, bearded man bound with a chain. The instructions alongside it suggest a surprisingly emotional solution: to pair the troubled male ghost with a living woman he can love, allowing him to move on peacefully. The tablet is incomplete, and researchers speculate that advice on female spirits may have been written on the missing half. Found in the library of a temple exorcist, the artifact offers rare insight into ancient Mesopotamian beliefs about the afterlife and spiritual unrest. The idea of love curing a haunting feels oddly modern, but the specifics, chains, incantations, ritual gestures, root it firmly in its time. For a civilization obsessed with order, even ghosts had procedures, and this clay slab was the handbook. Number 4. Mummy Bundle. In 2018, archaeologists at Peru's Pachacamac site came across something nearly impossible: a fully wrapped mummy bundle in excellent condition, tucked within the ruins of a place long stripped by looters. Estimated to be at least 1,000 years old, the mummy was tightly cocooned in layers of cloth, containing not just the deceased but an assortment of burial items. Despite Peru being home to ancient cultures, bundled mummies of this kind remain incredibly rare, especially outside Inca influence. The identity of the individual remains unknown, and the culture they belong to hasn't been firmly linked to any known group. Hopes of determining the person's age, gender, or cause of death were quickly tempered, as the internal remains, while intact, didn't yield much under non-invasive analysis. Still, the bundle reveals a complex funerary tradition that placed deep significance on preservation, layering, and material care. In a region famous for its grand tombs and ceremonial pyramids, this personal hidden burial speaks volumes. Number 3. Cooked fish fossils. In 2022, scientists confirmed something no one expected: humans may have started cooking food a lot earlier than we thought. At a site near the Jordan River called Gesher Beno Yaakov, researchers found fish remains dating back roughly 780,000 years. That alone is massive. But here's what shook archaeologists. The fish show evidence of being cooked long before they were eaten. If confirmed, it smashes the previous timeline, which put the earliest evidence of cooking at around 170,000 years ago. Archaeologist Dr. Irit Zohar cataloged thousands of fish remains at the site. The key clue: countless fish teeth were preserved, but almost no bones, a telltale sign of high heat exposure, as bones tend to soften or vanish under intense heat, while teeth survive. Charred flint fragments in the same area hint at a controlled fire or hearth nearby. This discovery forces experts to rethink when early humans, or perhaps even pre-humans, learned to harness fire for food. What do you think about this fishy discovery? Well, let us know. Number 2. 14th century clay grenade. While clearing shipwreck debris off the coast of Israel in 2016, divers pulled up a 14th century object that looked strangely modern: a clay grenade. Acorn-shaped, hollow, and complete with a fuse hole, it mirrors the design of far more recent explosive weapons. Though it's centuries old, this particular grenade was likely used in naval warfare, tossed onto enemy ships to spark chaos. It would have been filled with a flammable cocktail, probably alcohol or early Greek fire, and then ignited and hurled. Explosions were less dramatic than what we associate with modern warfare, but they were still dangerous, especially against wooden vessels. Researchers suspect this device dates to the time of the Crusades and may have been deployed by Byzantine or Islamic forces defending port cities. Its sophistication, even by medieval standards, reflects how far early chemistry and combat design had evolved. The grenade now sits as proof that handheld incendiary devices existed hundreds of years before most textbooks admit. Number 1. The Lost Board Game. In 2006, a burial site in Poprad, Slovakia, revealed a broken board game buried inside the tomb of a Germanic prince. More than a decade later, experts still don't know how it was played. Dating to around 1,600 years ago, the board features a grid layout similar to a chessboard and was found with white and green playing pieces. But no written rules or cultural parallels have surfaced to explain the game's mechanics. Unlike Viking games like Hanafatafá or Roman diversions like Ludus Latrunculorum, both of which have seen partial modern reconstructions, this one appears entirely unique. The board's craftsmanship and inclusion in a noble tomb suggest it had social or ceremonial value. Maybe it was a game of war, strategy, or status, but its true nature remains a mystery. It's one of the rare cases where archaeology recovers the tool but loses the meaning, leaving us with silent pieces that were once part of someone's pastime, and maybe even their legacy. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.